Hola a todos. Hola.
Hola.
Soy Mar de FUNED y también nos acompaña Janet Toribio y está Grace de CIPA, Columbia University. Vamos a empezar ya por todos los que sí se conectaron puntualmente. Hola Grace. Hi Grace. You speak Spanish?
Sorry, only English.
Sorry for my English, but I tried to do my better effort.
Oh no, it's good. Hopefully everyone will be able to understand.
Okay. Me voy a presentar, soy Marimar García de FUNED, también está Janet de Líderes en Desarrollo y Grace nos va a presentar el convenio que tiene FUNED con la Universidad de Columbia en el área específica CIPA. ¿Ok? Espérense a las preguntas al final de la presentación porque por lo general todas estas dudas que ustedes van teniendo se van resolviendo a lo largo de la presentación. Al final vamos a tener un momento para preguntas y respuestas, ¿ok? Pues empezamos. We start, Grace. Thank you for participation in this webinar.
Happy to be here. And let me know when you want me to start. So
Yes, you can start.
Oh, okay, great. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. Hopefully, if I speak too quick, let me know. I'm a New Yorker. I speak a little quicker than most people in the United States, but I do want to thank you for joining me. I'm going to talk a little bit about Columbia CIPA and share with you some of our program information if you are thinking about attending a graduate school, and maybe this is one that you may be interested in pursuing. So again, I'm Grace Hahn. I'm the Executive Director of Admissions and Financial Aid at Columbia University School of International and Public Affairs, otherwise known as CIPA. And I'm very happy to be with you tonight. So thank you for joining. I think it'll be easier if I turn off my camera to be less distracting when I'm going through the slides, but I'll be back on. And of course, if you have questions, let me know. So just bear with me. It also helps with my connection. Okay, so we're here to talk about Columbia CIPA. And let's see, slide. Okay. So the agenda today will cover a lot of different topics, specifically why CIPA or why Columbia, and why are we unique, and what are some of the advantages that we have here. Additionally, we'll talk about the degree programs, student life, and we'll spend more time on the application process and how you can connect with us. So why CIPA? CIPA is recognized as one of the most global public policy schools. In fact, in March 2021, Columbia CIPA was ranked as the #1 international global public policy school by US News and World Report. And it is the 2022 best graduate schools ranking. But what makes it special is what you want to get out of the experience here. Today, I want to cover 3 points that we like to highlight that makes us unique. One of them is our city, being in New York City, the choice, the flexibility and options in your curriculum and connections, the incredible network that you can work with every day here. So to dive deeper, New York City is a global hub for international organizations. The excitement of New York City is of course amazing, but what it means as a professional in this field is that we have the privilege of some of the powerhouses, organizations such as the United Nations, private public sector organizations, local and national NGOs. New York City brings leaders from all around the world We have access to some of the high-profile professors and guest speakers. And New York City is an amazing backyard and an incredible place to lay down your roots professionally and personally. Choice, our core curriculum is flexible, but makes sure that all of our students have received the foundation of politics, policy, quantitative analysis, economics, and management. We have 450 classes a year, but also a total of 1,000 classes total at large. There's an interdisciplinary approach to our curriculum where you can take courses at some of our graduate schools and programs that can be customized to your goals. Now, for example, let's say you're interested in economic policy. You may want to take a course at the business school. If you were interested in human trafficking law, you could take that with the law school. So we want you to structure your degree to make the most of your goals here. Connection being the third aspect is we have a remarkable community of scholars, practitioners who are committed to solving pressing challenges. We have professors highlighted throughout our website. Research is also a very compelling part to SEPA that you can take part of. Our professors are not just teaching theory, but they have real life professional work experience to uplift our students. And faculty brings their networks with them as well. Now, more than 70 faculty members and about 300 adjuncts and scholars and researchers call SEPA home. And beyond faculty connections, our alumni network span globally and internationally across 162 countries. I just work with our development colleagues, and we have different groups based on countries that are connected. We can't do good work alone. So we believe in fostering connections with the extensive alumni network through SEPA. We offer career services. I think the most important part of this slide is the lifelong access that you'll have to our career services. You can utilize the SEPA career services forever as graduates, 5 years out, 10 years out, or even while you're, and of course, even as students here. Our career center is focused on building and developing our career or your career, dedicated resources to SEPA students like professional development, editing your resume, salary negotiations, which are lifelong skills that you'll want to have. Now, additionally, MIA and MPA students are required to enroll in a 1-credit course in professional development as part of your curriculum to highlight these advantages. And there are conferences as well as professional development and employers that come on campus that are organized by the Career Advancement Center for you to participate in. 91% of our SEPA graduates are also employed within 6 months of graduation. Now, switching gears, I want to talk a little bit about the degree overall options that we offer here at SEPA. On this slide, I'll focus on the left-hand side of the MPA and MIA degrees, but I want to give you a look at the specialized programs that we also offer here. You may want to take a screenshot or a picture so you have the contact information, but MPA and MIA are 21-month programs, about 2 years in length. And they are full-time programs. We also offer a 12-month program that are shortened experiences in the field that you see that we've been in or that you've been in. Executive programs is for full-time working professionals on a part-time basis. And most students come to the MIA MPA program that you, as well as the development practice program that you see on your left side. So that's where I'm going to be focusing on today's presentation. But if you take the screenshot, you can also reach out to the various program contacts here. Now, this slide may be a little bit overwhelming, but we're going to walk you through this. One of our most popular questions that we receive is, what are the differences between the MIA and MPA degree programs? And so definitely something that you should look into as well. There are generally more similarities between the Masters of Public Administration and Masters of International Affairs at SIPA. Both have the foundation in politics, quantitative courses like macroeconomics, as well as microeconomics, statistics, and in both you'll complete an internship and professional development experience, as well as a capstone workshop. Now the difference is that the MIA students will take a course called Conceptual Foundations of International Politics, which focuses on theoretical frameworks and analytical tools of international affairs and apply them to global issues. They will also take an additional course on interstate relations to study relations among states in a particular geographic or policy area. Additionally, another difference would be the foreign language requirement, which is required for MIA students, but not for MPA students, unless you are an MPA student concentrating on economics and political development, which I'll talk a little bit about later. The MPA students also take a course called Politics of Policymaking, as your politics course, which focuses on data-driven political analysis and institutions and strategies that shape policies. They will also take an additional management course that the MIA students will only take one of. Students who aim to work in politics among nations and with a global context for global policy making typically choose the MIA, and students interested in policy making within the state tend to choose the MPA degree option. So segueing to concentrations, we look at it as kind of like a major and a minor when you're pursuing the policy concentrations and specializations. You do select one from each category, so one concentration, one specialization. We have 6 different concentrations, so they're policy areas, where you will take 5 courses within the specified concentration that you choose. They are a foundation for engagement in this field. And specializations, you're taking 3 courses to highlight your concentration policy area. So you're think of the concentration and specialization in tandem. So for example, social media and privacy, you may want to concentrate in international security policy and specialize in tech, media and communications. So it's whatever makes the most sense for your career. Keep in mind, they can be interests and customized, but think about how will this add value to your big picture goals. To give you a sense of what each concentration covers, the economic and political development looks at policy analysis, program planning, monitoring, evaluations, and advocacy. Also keep in mind, again, there is the foreign language proficiency requirement to graduate. For the energy and environment, it's looking at future of sustainable energy consumption, financial success of energy industry, economic potential of growing green businesses, and the health of the world's environment. For human rights and humanitarian policy, you can either be general or specific. An example includes relief operations and post-conflict. So it's the most interdisciplinary of all our concentrations. And then international finance and economic policy provides students with an analytical skill set or toolkit to work in changing public and private sectors of financial institutions. Students will also learn about international trade and monetary policy within the IFEP concentration. International security policy focuses on several arenas, including political violence, conflict management, defense policy, military strategy, terrorism, intelligence, peacekeeping, negotiations, as well as alternatives to use of force as a use of policy. And also, but not least, it also includes cybersecurity issues. And then finally, our sixth concentration option is the urban and social policy concentration. And it may include every policy arena from developing infrastructure to sustainable economic development, meeting basic needs of safety and security for human welfare. So it may cover education policies, health policy, as well as voting, democracy, infrastructure. So it does cover several areas of study. As I mentioned, you will be taking you will choose a specialization, which is 3 courses to highlight your concentration of study. And we offer about 14 different specializations. And here you'll see some examples of the functional areas of specialization. So if you're interested in more quantitative analysis, you might be interested in data analytics and quantitative analysis. If you were more interested in strategy, communications, TMAC or technology, media, and communication might be something of interest. And then we have students that might be interested in gender policy or a regional part of the world. And when we talk about regional part of the world, it focuses on geographical areas that you have the ability to combine language study as well as a regional area of specialization. Again, it's really up to you in terms of how you pair your concentration as well as your specialization. There is no one specific pairing. A lot of our students are choosing multiple different pairs. And again, you can choose several specializations to complete your education or your degree here. So you're not just limited to one specialization. Many of our students are actually completing 2 or 3 by the time that they complete their degree here at SIPA. So I want to highlight our dual degree options that we have here at Columbia University, along with our partner schools. We do get several questions about what's available here. So to begin, here are some options within Columbia University itself. For example, the MIA JD degree, that benefit is being the benefit of the dual degree is that you have the ability to complete the degrees faster rather than doing 2 separate degrees independently. So another benefit would be the access of both networks and communities. And so it's a great way to expand your reach, especially if you're interested in 2 different disciplines of study. And the dual degrees also receive different opportunities within each of the schools. Now, something to keep in mind is that you do have to apply to each school independently as applications are processed separately. And if you are admitted by the committees within each school, then you may pursue the dual degree option here at Columbia. So you would graduate with 2 degrees in less time than if you were to prepare the 2 degrees independently. What's unique is that we also here at SIPA offer the international dual degree option. We're very proud of being a member of our global public policy network, where we partner with various schools worldwide. You do receive degrees from both institutions in the 2 years. Some schools have a degree sequence to follow, like Sciences Po and LSE, where London School of Economics, where you will start there in your first year and continue your second year here at SIPA. Typically, this is open to both MIA and MPA students. So you'll need to do a little bit of research on the program options, but for those wishing to begin at our partner schools, you should apply through their website. They will hold the application specifically for LSE and Sciences Po. If you are interested in the other options with FGV in Brazil, Hertie School in Germany, Lee Kuan Yew in Singapore, or the University of Tokyo in Japan, you have a little bit more flexibility where you can begin at SIPA or at our partner school and then pursue the dual degree in your second year. So there's a little bit more flexibility there. But if this is something of interest, you may, we're happy to talk a little bit more about this in terms of giving you some more insight and suggestions on how to apply. So segueing into student life, because, obviously it's not just all about the academics. When it comes to SIPA, there is no typical student profile. Our admitted students have varied backgrounds with no typical standard background itself. Everyone is unique from their work experience to age to where they come from, their experiences. Some of our students are fixated on statistics and if they fit the average. My advice is if you don't apply to our programs, you have zero chance of getting in. Admitted students on average typically have about 4 years of professional experience. And we're looking at about a 3.6 average GPA on the US scale. But again, there is no specific cutoff. So don't talk yourself out of applying if you're interested in our program, because there's no specific profile that we're looking for. We are interested, obviously, in bringing in a very diverse class, because that's what makes us a strong unit and a strong community. And of course, we will want to make sure that you can do the work and you'll have some opportunity to contribute to the classroom, and that this is a good fit for the program in order to reach your career goals. Now, for a global or international school, we are exceptionally diverse. We receive applications from all over the world. We have about 1,300 students here at SIPA with about 100 countries represented, with over half being international. And we want to make sure that the students here are going to make a difference in the world. So we're firm believers in making sure that our classes are a representative of the global community. Speaking of community, who's to say graduate school is all about work and no play? We have a very big student life here at SIPA, dozens of student organizations and clubs. You're welcome to join the various clubs here at Columbia at large. So it's not just SIPA only. And then clubs are based around politics, identity, career interests. We also organize topical events like speaker series, as well as networking opportunities. And it's just a great outlet outside of studies to increase your learning experience as well as your network within this context. Wellness has become a very serious topic at Columbia. And so we offer weekly therapists that comes to SIPA who have open hours that can meet with our students. There's a lot of daily walk-in opportunities if you want to have someone to talk to. And of course, none of this is an extra charge or a fee. It's a service that we provide all of our students for them to be successful here at Columbia. Columbia Housing is for undergraduates, but for graduate students, we have Columbia Residential. And I would say about 40% of those who apply for housing are able to secure one near the IAB or International Affairs building where we're housed. So you're on campus. And you're able to apply for housing opportunities if you're admitted. Applications do open in February, so you want to make sure you take advantage of it if this is something that you're thinking about once you've been admitted into the program. So segueing into applying to SEPA. So if this is something that you are considering, you might want to just make sure that you have the dates marked on your calendar. So we offer 2 entry points for our MIA, MPA, as well as our development practice program. Our most popular entry point is the fall that starts in late August. Applications are available as early as August the previous year. So you can start looking at the applications online. You don't have to submit. You can start working on it as early as it's opened. Just keeping in mind that there are several application deadlines to be aware of if you're thinking about applying for fall. We have generally a November 1 deadline for early action. It's non-binding, but for students who would like to have an admission decision earlier in the year, this is the date that most of them stick to. For a lot of scholarship opportunities, the eligibility is only if you've been admitted to a program. So oftentimes we find that a lot of the applicants that are applying early are in that category. They're applying to different scholarship programs. And so they want to make sure that they get a decision earlier. Most of our applicants are applying by the December 20th application deadline. So for those who are interested in being considered for funding, you will be working towards getting your application in by the 20th so that you can also be considered for any SEPA scholarship opportunities. We will release decisions along with anyone who's applying for admission decision on that February 5th deadline sometime in middle of March. And so it's just something to keep in mind as you're planning ahead. We do offer a opportunity for students who are interested in starting early in January. And so that's also another time period for those who are thinking about, oh, you know, I don't want to start necessarily in the fall, but I'm ready to go in the early part of the year in January. So you might want to just keep track of that deadline, which is October 15th, for those who are thinking about a January or spring start. So going into the application itself, it's pretty standard. We have our applications online and available every year in August. They'll go live and it'll be open until the deadline for each program. We do ask for a personal statement, a video, 2 reference letters, your resumes, as well as your transcripts and TOEFL or IELTS scores. The GRE GMAT is optional and will remain optional for the next year. So if that's something that you're concerned about, just make sure that you note that. So talking a little bit through the essay prompts, it's not, sorry that this is a little bit word heavy here. We're trying to give you as much information as possible on what we're looking for in your essay. It's fairly standard. The personal statement is just for you to give you an opportunity to discuss your background, your interests, your goals that are related, hopefully, to SEPA. Make sure you're just yourself. Speak honestly, tell us about what you're passionate about, what your interests are. You don't need to necessarily recap your resume. We have your resume on hand, but you want to be able to connect the dots or for the committee to understand where you're coming from and what you're hoping to achieve out of the program. We do have a couple of optional essays, one to kind of highlight things that might be questions in your application. The other one is a diversity essay. And then we have a topical policy essay, generally about 200 words, that may change from year to year, but this is just one example that you see here on the site. The video essay, which is the one that gets people a little concerned every year, it's not, there is no wrong answer for the video essay. It is a randomized question that will populate after you submit your application. So you just have to come back to the application and see the video prompt. You want to speak very clearly. You should definitely make sure your system's tested and it's operational. You'll have 60 seconds to get the question, to think about your answer, and then 90 seconds to record your answer. There are no redos, but keeping in mind, again, I can't stress this enough, there is no wrong answer. These are questions that generally will just ask, like, behavioral questions, conversational questions, your opinion on a subject matter. If you are thinking about policy score, international affairs, you generally have talked or spoken with someone about one of these topics. So again, it's not meant to stomp you. It's really just to give us an insight as to how you think and who you are as an individual. We do ask for 2 letters of references. Who should write these references? They should be people that know who you are. We generally ask for 1 professional and 1 academic reference to provide that you should receive. It shouldn't be, if you're no longer working with the recommender, just provide them with an updated resume for their reference. I would include dates and tasks that you did while you were working with them. Remind them of specific projects or tasks that you worked on at the job, so that they can illustrate your skills, and then also talk a little bit more about who you are as an individual, rather than just listing items. You want a reference to be able to tell a story and illustrate, aspects of your experiences that your resume may not be easily viewed. So try to get people who know you a little bit better. One tip is to ask them early. They may not be necessarily familiar with the program either, so you want to be able to have a conversation with them about what your plans are, what your goals are, what program you're applying to. And then also you might even want to consider drafting some bullet points to what you're thinking. If you are, what I would also remind them is also, again, the different projects or your work that you did in their courses that you've taken with them, or the work that you did with them on a team. And you want to be able to really be able to illustrate your story and your experience with them, so that they're able to also comment and support your application here at SEPA. The CV is fairly straightforward. We're interested in your accomplishments, your history, your work experiences, any achievements that you may have obtained, internships, as well as any extracurricular activities that you may have participated in. The quantitative language resume may be a little bit daunting because people are not as familiar. Again, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. There's a lot of schools that have published on websites course descriptions. So you just have to copy and paste the quantitative or language courses that you've taken and what those courses covered in that course. We're asking because there are many courses that are listed as Math 101, and we just want to understand what Math 101 covered in your particular course. For transcripts, it's everything that's post secondary school. So all college courses that you've taken, the schools that you took them with, If they are in a different language, just make sure they are certified and translated. You can get it through WES or through your school. They do need to be able to list out the courses that you've taken and your performance in those courses. They should also include any degree conferred that you, if it's an undergraduate or graduate program, if there's a degree that you received at the completion of that program, make sure that's also stated in the transcript. And then for review purposes, it does not have to be an official document. It can be unofficial and uploaded into your application. However, if you are admitted and you decide to enroll, we will ask for official course evaluation documentation. So that's just something to know. As I mentioned, the GRE and GMAT are optional, so you are not required to take it. If you feel that you're a great test taker, feel free to submit them. If you feel like there are parts of your application that are don't necessarily speak to your academic potential, and you feel that the GRE is going to add extra value, you're welcome again to take the test and submit those scores. If you're on the other side of the line where you are not a great test taker and or you've taken several quantitative courses and did well in them, there's no need to take the GRE or GMAT. We are going to look at the rest of your application. It's a very holistic approach to review. So the GRE or GMAT is only used as a balancing factor. So if you feel like there are gaps, then you might want to take it. If there are no gaps and everything looks great, don't feel that you must take the GRE. It's not going to weigh against you if you don't take it. Now, where it is required is that we will require the TOEFL or the IELTS for anyone who did not complete a 4-year undergraduate degree where English was the primary language of instruction. That then will be required. So you will need to make sure that you complete the the TOEFL or the IELTS. There is a minimum score of 7.0 on the IELTS or a 100 on the TOEFL in order to be considered for admission here at SIPA. Okay, so I think we're coming to the end. There's obviously a lot of ways for you to stay in touch with us if you're interested in learning more about our program. And if you are interested in just hearing what's going on at SIPA, I definitely highly recommend subscribing to the admissions blog. There's a lot of great information there. And we provide lots of insight throughout the year, both from an admissions process for a financing option, as well as from a student perspective. All right.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Grace. Your presentation is very interesting and detailed. Before the questions and answer team, please tell them about our agreement and how they can apply to obtain the scholarship.
Yes, that's actually a good segue. I forgot to mention that to you. So we do have a wonderful opportunity for students who are interested in applying to SIPA. We recently signed an agreement with FUNED, and where if you are interested, you can be considered for SIPA scholarship through that relationship. You just want to make sure that you submit your completed application by December 20th. And then we will take into consideration if you are also applying for FUNED and are selected for that fellowship opportunity. It is if you are a recipient, we do offer $20,000 per year for any for at least 2 scholars that are also affiliated to FUNED. And I think if there might be more information, but I don't have all the details as to how you apply for FUNED, but on the SEPA side, all you need to do is submit your application to our program by December 20th, and then you will be considered for that funding opportunity as well.
Okay, perfect. Pues now we start with the answer and questions. Janet help us, and por favor, cada quien alce la mano. Janet nos va a ayudar con darles la palabra y le van ustedes preguntando sus dudas, que yo creo que quedó bastante claro todo lo que nos presentó Grace, pero les dejo la palabra. Empezamos.
Perfecto, empezamos con Emanuel. Emanuel, adelante.
Hi, Grace. Thank you very
Gracias,
much for your information. Thank you, Marimar, and thank you, FUNED, for hosting this event. So I have one question. So I applied for the program of MPA and Development Practice.
Mm-hmm.
I already submitted my application.
Oh, great.
Yeah, like 2 weeks ago.
Okay, very exciting.
Yes, it is. However, I recently found out about this opportunity with FUNED.
Okay.
And like, I will be automatically considered to be eligible, or do I need to do another process?
No, so then it's on our end, it's just the application on the FUNED, and I think there's also can you specify if there's an application that they need to complete on your side?
Because I didn't understand like very well how this approach like functions, you know?
Right. So from our end, on the Columbia SEPA side, there is no separate application. It's just your one application. I'm not quite sure. I think there is a separate application from FUNED that you need to complete.
I will speak to Miramar now in Spanish, right?
Mm-hmm.
Disculpe, es que la pregunta es si yo necesito hacer una aplicación distinta a través de FUNED para ser considerado para la beca, o solo con aplicar a Columbia es suficiente.
Pero ¿tú te refieres a FUNED por el programa de FUNED Maestrías?
Es que, pues, creo que hay como dos becas, ¿no? De $20,000 de descuento en la colegiatura.
Ok. Sí.
¿Cómo puedo aplicar para eso?
Tú tienes primero que aplicar a la universidad, ser admitido en la universidad para cualquier convenio que tienes que existe con FUNED. Primero tienes que aplicar a la universidad, obtener la carta de aceptación. Y una vez que obtienes la carta de aceptación, tienes que después aplicar a FUNED Maestrías, que es la convocatoria de FUNED. Y entonces avanzas en todo el proceso. En ese proceso, uno de los requisitos es presentar una carta de aceptación. Y entonces, ya que eres aceptado y que te aprueban ese apoyo, entonces en ese momento hay una persona responsable que se comunica, no sé, en este caso con Columbia, y le dice, oye, Manuel fue admitido, vamos a aplicarles el primero de las 2 becas que tenemos. Y entonces ya te aplican el descuento.
Ok. Pero eso tiene que ser en conjunto con el programa de FUNED Maestrías, ¿no? Pero ahí aplicaría también creo que es un préstamo, ¿no? El que se tiene que hacer.
Sí, les llaman fondos revolventes, es decir, tienes que, una parte es beca, creo que el 10% es beca, el 90% es crédito, tienes que devolverlo, o sea, estudias la maestría, la terminas, te dan cierto tiempo de periodo de gracia y posterior a esto comienzas a devolver el apoyo que te dieron. Se llaman fondos revolventes porque cuando tú lo devuelves sirve para que apoyen a otros mexicanos.
Ok. Ok.
Y sí, forzoso, o sea, digamos que como el convenio es en conjunto con ese programa de FUNED Maestrías, entonces tendrías que solicitar ese para obtener ese descuento.
Okay. Okay. So Grace, she told us that after, well, once I get the admissions letter, I apply to FUNED scholarship.
Ah, got it. Okay.
So, I mean, it's with the admissions letter, then it's through FUNED, and then FUNED puts someone in contact with me to apply the scholarship.
Understood. And then did they say that it would be guaranteed, or is it, they would determine after you
I
are
mean,
admitted?
first I will be admitted. I mean, hopefully, or like to anyone, and then I must apply to this trust fund that FUNED handles, and with that trust fund, there will. I mean, what I understood is that if I am the first one, then or like the second one, or as there are only 2 scholarships available, there will be I will be chosen as a recipient, I guess.
Got it. Okay. That's what I thought. Thank you for
I have
confirming.
another question.
Perdón, Manuel, viendo
sí.
que hay una pregunta de Adriana,
Ajá.
hablando de este tema de FUNED, sí, ustedes pueden combinar diferentes apoyos con el de FUNED. Comúnmente, si tú pides, no sé, FUNED maestrías y te dan, digamos, ese crédito, pero ese crédito aparte tiene un descuento, pero aparte tienen otro apoyo y aparte tienen trabajo, o sea, no, la realidad, y ustedes lo van a ver, que la inversión que hacen para estudiar la maestría en otro país es algo que no una sola beca no se los da un solo apoyo, entonces necesitan combinar diferentes apoyos, ¿vale?
Sí, claro.
Por la pregunta que hizo Adriana.
Sí, yo justo eso iba a preguntar, ¿eh? Muchas gracias. Y creo que es todo. Gracias.
Perfecto. No sé si
Thank you,
alguien más
Grace.
tenga alguna duda.
So there's a question about how many students are accepted by each cohort. So PhDs are definitely different from the MPA, MIA degree program. So PhD programs, we have one in sustainable development, and that brings in about 3 to 6 students generally per year, depending on how many graduate and how many available positions are aligned with the faculty advisors. Now for our MIA, MPA degree programs, as well as our development practice program, it's very different because it's a master's degree program. And so we're bringing a much larger class of students. So for our MIA, MPA degree programs, we're bringing in about 400 students per year. And then for the MPA DP program, we're bringing about 50 to 60 students per year in the fall. So it's just something to keep in mind. But again, there isn't, I can't say, you have a very unlikely chance or a very likely chance of being admitted without seeing your application. So I would definitely try to put together a strong application and then, we'll see how it goes. Are there any other questions? Concerns? Yes, Manuel, you asked if you can still submit your international fellows application or essay. You can still do that up till December 20th. You won't be able to upload it directly into your application because once you submit your application, you can't go back to it. However, if you email us to the admissions office, we can upload it for you. I will put our email on the link below. So if you email us your international fellows essay before December 20th, we will upload your essay to your application for you.
Y justo sobre la pregunta de Citlali, sí, Citlali, comúnmente las universidades y Columbia tiene scholarships propias, entonces te recomiendo que visites su página y en su caso que le escribas a Grace para que te diga de acuerdo a la maestría a cuáles puedes aplicar. Comúnmente lo haces en el momento en que tienes que meter tu aplicación, algunas posterior a ella. No sé si justo Citlali quiere perfecto, creo que no hay otra pregunta. No sé si hay alguien más que quiera hacerle alguna pregunta a Grace.
Yes. Again, you can send me an email at SIPA_admission or my direct email at gh222@columbia.edu. Our number that's the office telephone number. Oh, yes. So research assistantship. So there are a couple of opportunities for students, actually many opportunities for students. Once you become a second year student in our MIA MPA program, you are eligible to be considered for assistantships, and they are in the form of research assistantships or teaching assistantships or program assistantships. These are paid assistantships on a salary, so you would get paid for your work and service. And you would apply at the beginning of your second semester in your first year of study at SIPA. So in your first year, they will announce these different assistantships that would be available to you in your second year of study at SIPA. But you would apply for those opportunities during your second semester of study at SIPA. There are over 300 different assistantship opportunities each year. They are semester long. Some assistantships could be 1 year long. And again, they range in different opportunities. I would say each professor has a teaching assistantship opportunity, and then many of them also have research assistantships opportunities. So you would get the list. Obviously, you would know the different professors and what courses that they're teaching, so then you could apply directly to those opportunities. And they would announce it at the end of your first year. So you would know in advance for your second year what you have been selected for.
Perfecto. ¿Alguien más tiene alguna pregunta? Creo que Manuel todavía.
Yeah, so just to reiterate, if you are applying for admission, if you apply early action, you would get your admission decision before the new year. That would only be admission oriented. For everyone else that applies after, including people who applied and were admitted in the early action period, they would all be considered for funding opportunities, and those opportunities scholarship opportunities would be announced in mid-March, along with most of the admission decisions that will be going out around that time as well. So anyone who applies after November 1 will receive an admission decision in mid-March. And along with that, if you are selected for a scholarship, you'd also be notified at that time.
Perfecto. Bueno, pues creo que chicos no tienen más preguntas. Thank you, Grace. No questions.
Okay, great. Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you for letting me speak with all of you. Of course, if you have any questions, you have my contact information as well as the office contact information. Hopefully we will see your application in the near future. And of course, any questions that you may have, please reach out to us. Happy to speak with you and answer questions later on as well. So have a good night. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Grace. Gracias a todos por acompañarnos y pues cualquier duda escriban directamente al contacto de Grace. See you later.
Thank you.